Welcome to Built on Faith Homestead, or Leaving Egypt, depending on which video platform you're watching this on. Once again, I would like to remind you, if you're watching this on YouTube, please check us out on Rumble. I will put the link down below in the description box, along with the links to the websites that I'll put into this video.
I once was lost, oh, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see.
In today's video, I want to talk about the banning of gas stoves. You can come say hi, Stella. Apparently, there are some thought processes going on about banning gas stoves, propane stoves, gas stoves inside of your house because of indoor air quality problems. Now, what I do know about indoor stoves is I know that potentially they can be dangerous, just like anything else. However, they have been in houses for a very, very long time. That's rude. That's rude, Stella. Just to hump up and go to the bathroom while people's watching. Folks is watching this. You didn't even go around the corner. Anyhow, so they're banning these propane stoves in people's houses. Not any, now if you have one currently, right, they're like, no, not that, just any new stoves. And I got to thinking about that some. Who is that really going to hurt, right? So folks that live out in the sticks, especially folks that is wanting to live off grid, folks that is not wanting to have electric to run their stove. They want to be off grid. They want to have a propane stove, maybe a natural gas stove. They want something like that to run their house, to cook their food, to can their food, all of that good stuff. That's what they're wanting for their household. And now the government's thinking about stepping in and going, no, you can't have that. It's too dangerous. We are always trying to, seems like, sacrifice freedom in order to be safe, right? Now, I'm not obviously advocating, doing something real stupid or anything like that. But I do want you to consider for just a little bit who this is actually going to hurt. And it's going to be a whole lot of people like you and I, right? Now, I said a long time ago, whenever we began to think about this off-grid adventure, that we would like to go on. We're not off-grid now. We would like to get off-grid. It's something that we are planning. It is something we are trying to figure out how to do. Whenever we move, if we can find a piece of property, Lord willing, our hope is that when we move our tiny house, that we will be off-grid at that piece of property. And all of that being said, when we were talking about this, propane, of course, was an option to consider. And the problem I told my wife that I had with it is that I cannot produce propane. I can produce electric and I can cut firewood, right? I can build electric systems, right? Some sort of wind power, solar power, maybe even use a generator. I can do those kinds of things. I cannot produce propane. Or I can put in a wood cook stove, which is actually our grander plan as far as that goes, as far as cooking, where we can cook. But also, in case you don't remember, in case you have forgotten what the EPA has done, here's what they've said about wood stoves. You can still have them, but they got to be a very particular kind of wood stove, right? And so, whenever you think about these laws and regulations, I want you to think about the people who it's actually probably going to hurt the most. Also, along with restaurants and small businesses that use propane to cook, because everybody that's done any amount of cooking knows how much easier and how much better it is to cook on a gas stove versus an electric stove. And I want you to pay extra close attention to those that are prohibiting, or some of the ones that are saying they are unsafe. One in particular, it'll be a familiar friend that you guys are all familiar with. As I showed you that clip here once again, in the highlighted section, one of the agencies that says that these stoves are unsafe for you is none other than the World Health Organization, or the WHO. If you think to yourself it's not really going to affect you because it's the WHO and it's the World Health Organization, What if you can't put in a propane cook stove to help you get off grid? And then I want you to pay really close attention to the article. It talks about how it's especially unsafe for your children. It is a crazy thought to consider that if you have a propane burning stove inside of your house, that somebody like the World Health Organization may say that you're potentially putting your children in harm's way. That's a crazy thought to consider. Guys, if you do not know the Lord, if you are not saved, born again, following after the things of God, if you are not doing that, I would plead with you. I would beg with you. I've heard preachers before say, I ain't going to beg. I'll beg. I will beg with you. Please turn to Him before it's too late. Please understand that this world, and you say, what do stoves have to do with biblical prophecy? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Nowhere in my Bible does it say, and they shall outlaw thy propane stove, right? It doesn't say that. But I want you to look at the level of control that is being implemented and ask yourself why. And then whenever you go back and you read the scriptures and you realize the level of control that will have to be in place for the time prophesied, then it all begins to make a little bit more sense. We appreciate you guys watching. Sorry for Stella's rudeness, just going potty right here in front of everybody. And we'll catch you on the next video.